I am really excited for today's repotting. You can see my Miss Aurea here. Hopefully you guys can see okay. I have fungus gnats now and I'm so mad. So I mentioned in the community tab, I've stopped using soul soils. Well, I'm still using it as far as the plants. I have plants potted into it, but I'm not using it anymore. I repotted my Syngonium albo into it recently, along with another plant. You know, ever since then, I have discovered that the pot is full of fungus gnats. And I don't have a fungus gnat problem because, you know, I use BTI, which keeps them away. Occasionally I get them in here. They'll just fly by my moss poles, but I don't have any gnats in my soil and anything like that. I've had several plants rot in it. I've had my Majestic, which is rooting in my cabinet, and it's doing better. Most recently, my Serpens has rotted. My Sorderoy had rots. I had rot, I had to change it out. My String of Hearts had rotted and I potted it into it. I have a lot of plants in it. You know, this Aurea is potted into it, which I'm going to be chucking and trashing the soil. I'm not going to repot all my plants out of it. I'm just going to make sure that the plants that are in it doesn't have any root rot, and eventually when it's time to repot, I'm going to be repotting all my plants that I have in it out. It's mostly my moss poles and my Monsteras and a few others I decided to put in it. I don't know, it has the gnat larvae and all the cocoa has pieces. There's just too much and it kind of settles as to where the bottom of all the little pieces gather at the bottom, and when you water it, it just gets muddy and it rots the roots down there, is what I'm finding. I feel like I tried to use it and tried to like it. I pulled off a rotted aerial root. I mean, I did really like it at first and I really tried to keep using it because I just felt like it was a good chunky mix, but I don't know, lately I just am not a fan of it with my plants rotting out in it, and then with the fungus gnats, I can't deal with that. So now it's going to be a whole month before I can get rid of the fungus gnats again. So I have an older video on my channel that I did last summer. It's not too old. I repotted her into this pot and I didn't upsize that much because I didn't want to overdo it with the root system. But now I'm worried, since the soil sits too wet, that I don't think she has any rot going on. I do see a couple roots coming out of the bottom, but I just want to chuck this mix, I know, and I want to get her potted into my mix. And I'm going to go up to an 8-inch pot for her. So this is my normal chunky mix here that you guys know that I use. It's Fox Farm Ocean Forest, Perlite, Orchid Bark, Charcoal, and then most recently, as of a month or two ago, I started adding leca to it because I like the consistency. The only thing that I want to add more of in here is more Orchid Bark because I ran out. That's the only thing. It's very, very aerated. And so this is going to be my go-to soil bin for pretty much everything. And then I also made another bin up. So this is just Orchid Bark, Perlite, and leca, and a little thing of charcoal in the middle. So this doesn't have any soil. So when I go to make my moss poles, or for instance, a Monstera that really likes a breathable mix, I'm going to be using mostly this with a couple, probably a few scoops of soil. That way it's pretty aerated and chunky. And I'll do the same thing for moss poles. I'll just have it mostly an aeroid mix, doesn't contain any soil, but I'll just add a few scoops of soil in there just to add some kind of moisture retention. So that's the plan. And once I get more Orchid Bark, I'm going to try and get a couple different sizes of Orchid Bark, I think, to add in here, because the ones that are in here, it's very thin and fine, which I like these pieces, but I want some chunkier pieces. So I think that's my plan. I'm going to keep 2 bins, one of just chunky stuff to add into my plants that really would like the aeration, and then I'll have a normal mix that will be used for everything else. I won't have to add anything to it. So this will be for Maranta, Calathea, Alocasia, Pothos, philodendron, anything like that. This mix is perfect for. I think I went a little heavy on the leca, but that's okay. So that's my plan from here on out. I'll just keep, you know, a chunky bin on the side if I want to customize my mix. And I don't really do like certain ratios. I would say my mix is normally like 50% soil base, and then the other 50 is the perlite, the orchid bark, the leca, and the charcoal. So I just kind of eyeball it and play around with it. I feel like my mix is never the same every time I make it. Sometimes it's more chunky, sometimes it's less chunky, but overall, I mean, it's pretty much the same consistency. I'm gonna set this off to this side down here. So these are the two original leaves. I have this one, and they stay kind of curled. Right when I water her, they'll uncurl temporarily. So I don't know if it's just because, you know, this pot dries out quickly, or I thought I saw spider mite. Yeah, I don't know if there's like rot going on in here. I sure hope not. Or if it's just drying out too quickly and she needs an upsize. You can see me over this massive Monstera. But she's my favorite plant, and I just want her back in my mix. I don't even want to think about this plant getting root rot. She's grown such long aerial roots too. I'm leaving the stake in here. I'm not going to change this at all. I'm basically just uncovering the roots and taking off all this old soil and giving her my mix, fresh fertilizer, and then I'll just wipe the leaves off. They're kind of sticky a little bit from when I wiped her last time. I think I just put too much. I don't know if I used, or what all I used. But yeah, I'm gonna give her a wipe down too. The newest leaf isn't as variegated. I feel like her growth is a little bit stunted, which she went a little dormant over winter. She only gave me, I think she only gave me 2 leaves since I repotted her. I can't remember when I repotted her. I know it was like late summer, early fall probably. But she only gave me, I think since that video, this leaf and then this, or maybe she's given me 3 leaves since that video. But all my other Monsteras, like my elbows and both my ties, are pushing new leaves, but she hasn't quite woken up yet. So I don't know if she's still kind of feeling dormant, or she just isn't liking this pot. Maybe she's too root bound, or there's something else going on with the root system. I usually find if there's a problem with your plant growing, check the root system out first. Make sure there's no pest that's causing stress to the plant. If all the other needs are met, if the plant's getting great light, you're feeding, and you know the environment's good and they're not growing, that means something's probably going on. There's something not good with the soil health. I have Star and Chai down here trying to attack the aerial roots. It's so funny. I'm gonna get a little bin so I can dump out this old soil. I wasn't planning on waking up and repotting this plant today, but after my findings yesterday, I was on my Instagram and I'm like, I just have to tell you guys something. This is what I'm finding with the soil. I just don't like it anymore, and I just have to let you guys know that I don't want people to think that I like am using it just to like promote it, because I mean, I do have a discount code with them, but I don't really care about that, because if my plants aren't happy in it and I don't like it, I'm not going to promote it, because I just don't think it's good for indoor plants, in my opinion. That's just what I'm finding after using it. And that's the thing, like you don't know if you really like something per se until you've used it for a while. And I feel like on my channel, I've tried to like it. I've like taken the cocoa husk pieces out. I've tried mixing it with my mix to see if I would like it any better, and I just find it just gets muddy at the bottom and everything just settles. And I mean, I didn't have my Serpens, my Sorderoy, and my Majestic. I feel like I didn't have them on the pole that long and they rotted like that quickly, so it definitely is lacking airflow. I'm hoping she isn't rotted. I would literally cry right now if this plant had rotted roots. I just want you guys to see, oh shoot. I told myself I wasn't gonna make a mess today. I just cleaned in here. I want you guys, I'm gonna bring this to the camera so you guys can see what I'm talking about. It literally, it just becomes mud. I watered her, what's today, Monday? I watered her Saturday. Do you see in there how it just looks so muddy? There's like no airflow. The top layer, what seemed like dry, and then everything below here is just a moisture retentive mess. So the leaves are curling because she's rotting, or she's root bound, or she's just not liking the soil. I don't know. We will find out. I feel like if this wasn't a Monstera, it definitely would have rotted. For sure. Okay. Ooh, she seems okay. Oh yeah, there's a lot of rotted roots. Oh no. I think she'll be okay though. I'm glad I'm checking. Let me bring this to you guys. So do you see there in the middle, there's rot in the middle of the root ball. Oh gosh, don't hit my ceiling fan. This really sucks. This soil sucks. I now want to take I want to take all my plants out of the soil. Yeah, it's just pure mud in the middle. Just pure mud. I'm probably going to soak the root ball in water and hydrogen peroxide just to kill any rot, anything off. I mean, I don't have a lot of rot. I definitely have some rot in the middle. It doesn't smell too bad. Usually when you have root rot, you can smell like the rotted roots. It smells awful. I really wanted to love this mix. I really did. It's just mud. I'm gonna show you this pan once I am done so you can kind of see what is falling off. Yeah, the roots are literally just like falling off on some of this. See, you can see the root is just like fluffing out of the sheath. It's just like pulling right off. It's rotted. I'm just glad I'm catching it when I am, you know, because if she would have stayed in that pot, she definitely would have had a lot more rot going on. I'm just like gently tugging the roots. I mean, anything that seems to come off easily, I'm just pulling off. She's got a lot of roots. Like, look at that all. A really long root system. A lot of it is just like fluffing right off. That is so sad. I'm so disappointed in myself. It's just all coming off. I knew something was up when she stopped growing. I just sensed it. I knew there was something going on with the roots. I mean, thank goodness there are a lot of roots here. I mean, some root pruning is okay, and the plant, I find Monstera is pretty hardy for the most part. Like, they can recover pretty well. So much has rotted off. This bin is just a pile of rot. I have an empty bin that I had cleaned out with that had the soil in it and I washed out. So what I'm gonna do is fill that bin up with water and some hydrogen peroxide, and then I'm gonna let the root system soak in there for like maybe like 20-30 minutes, and then we'll get to potting her back into, you know, a fresh mix, a healthy mix that's not going to rot. This is the disgusting pile of rotted roots. All this stuff literally just came sloughing off the plant. It's so sad. Just like a bunch of rottedness. It's so disgusting. Look at how wet and dense that soil is. Over time, as you water, it just like, I don't know, it's just, look at it all. It's basically just so dense. I don't even know what all these little pieces are. That is so sad. Hello. I have her in the bathroom soaking. So that's water and hydrogen peroxide, and you can see how much it's bubbled, killing off all the rot. She's probably been soaking at least 20 minutes, so I feel like that should be okay. And then I'm going to rinse the roots, and you know, anything that comes sloughing off still, I'll pull off. And that's definitely why the bottom leaves were curling so much, just because of the rot, I feel like. Makes me so sad. I hope she doesn't shock too much, you know, because she's my favorite plant. I love her. So I hope she does okay. What the root system is looking like. Still a lot of healthy roots. Still very lucky. I feel like I caught this before. It really was bad. I feel like this plant's going to be so much happier. Makes me so sad, you guys. So incredibly sad. I think my other Monsteras should be okay. But I'm worried that they might slowly be rotting. I might be potting all my Monsteras out of it. I don't know yet. I don't know what I want to do. I'm gonna put my hair up while we're repotting her. So let's see. So I'm using an entire fresh batch of soil, and I'm using an 8-inch, so we'll need quite a bit of soil. So what I'll probably do is just use most of my normal mix that I was showing you earlier, and then just add some more chunkiness to it. I'm gonna do a layer on the bottom. I have my other chunky bin right here. I'm gonna put it on this side. Don't fall. Let's make it more chunky. Okay. Whoa. I'm still really thankful she has like a lot of healthy roots. I feel like for the most part, I pulled a lot of the rotted stuff away. You guys aren't gonna be able to see me now. Let me try and do her on the side. So I just have her plucked down like in the center. I just have the stake, you know, down as far as it'll go. And then we will just fill up around. don't know if she's gonna stand yet because it's not filled to the top. The stake is definitely wobbly still. I'm gonna do a fresh thing of fertilizer. This is an 8-inch, so I am going to do pretty much like 3, almost to the top, not quite a full capsule. I feel bad too because a lot of these plants I already fertilized, so if I toss the soil, I'm like wasting my fertilizer too. Such a waste. Once the roots kind of form in here and kind of take shape and form around the stake, it won't be so wobbly. It's definitely going to take some time. Okay. I think there's enough soil in here. Might do one more scoop. So all I'm going to do now is water in some Superthrive with her. She's definitely going to need some Superthrive. So this is rainwater soaked in mosquito dunks. Oh, you know what? I meant to put some mycorrhizae. I set it out here and I forgot to add some. This just helps the roots out. I actually might go ahead and just sprinkle some on top. Totally meant to add some. Where did my Superthrive go? Here we go. I'm not gonna like oversaturate the soil. I just want to water in enough water to moisten it and for this plant to get some of that Superthrive. Because the roots are gonna take a little bit of a hit. So I don't wanna like go crazy. Okay, that is good. And the only thing else that I wanted to do with her is to wipe the leaves one more time. This is just microfiber, and this is Dr. Bronner's peppermint soap and water, Castile soap. She is looking so much better. So happy I took care of her. All right, I'm gonna put her back in the window here. I'll show you where she's gonna sit, and yeah, that'll be it for this video. I'll definitely keep you updated on her and how she's doing, like how she responds. I feel like she's gonna be fine because she did have a significant root system, as you saw. So even though she lost a lot of roots, I feel like, you know, she still had enough to support, you know, the growth. I don't know when she'll push a new leaf, but now that she's like not in that dense, rotting away soil mess, she's definitely going to be much happier. I'll probably give her about a month or so to kind of recover and perk up, and she should be pushing a new leaf hopefully here soon. So that's what the soil is looking like there. And you can see she's getting some bright light in front of the window. That's her spot I have her in. So hopefully in like a month, maybe sooner, you know, she'll recover in a couple weeks and perk up and hopefully give me a new leaf here. These are the rest of the Monsteras that are in soul soils. You can see, I have a feeling I'm gonna be repotting these. They look dry on top, but in the middle it's just like, I don't know how to describe it other than just like a soggy, dense mess. I don't know. I definitely don't feel like doing, you know, any more today as far as Monsteras go. I don't feel like it's urgent. I feel like they're not showing signs of stress like my Aurea was. My ties are actually both pushing new leaves, so I feel like it's fine to leave them for right now. I'll probably eventually repot them, but I'm not like in any rush to, because I feel like, again, I feel like they've all given me new growth recently and overall they seem like happy. So yeah, I'm bummed about the whole thing. I had my suspicions that rot was going on with it, and you know, after just discovering rot on those plants, I'm just like, I just can't do it. I just don't like their mix anymore. So I guess the important thing to take away from this video is if you do use this mix and you bought it because I was using it, I'm sorry. Definitely check your plants and, you know, just make sure they're doing okay. And, you know, definitely if you feel like the soil isn't drying and the plant overall just something seems off and you can feel like something is off with it, definitely check it. I don't feel like you have to go crazy and check all your plants all at once, but definitely you may want to in some time. And yeah, I love my mix. I'm not gonna switch it. I'm just gonna use it from here on out for everything. And like I said, I'm gonna get more orchid bark, a couple different sizes to make it a little bit more chunky. So I hope that was helpful. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll definitely keep you updated, and you know, as I repot plants and do like more plant care, you know, I'll keep you guys informed of like my findings. If I find more rot and stuff, I will let you guys know. So thank you for watching, and I will talk to you later.